So let's write our first body paragraph. So we've got our introduction here. So our first idea was that she explores... hang on. So our topic is Perkins shows that we cannot truly belong if we are alienated from the people and places that are important to our identity.
Yeah, and then the first secondary claim that we have is she explores this in regards to the experiences of people being removed from the places that are important to us.
Okay. So we probably need to turn that into a slightly differently worded topic sentence.
Exactly, that's right. So...
So Perkins shows?
Yeah.
Perkins reveals?
Yeah, Perkins reveals better than shows, I think.
Perkins reveals that. Someone at their locker. Perkins reveals that. So in regards to the experience, so it's about we're alienated from the people that. So when we are.
Yeah, that when we are. Let's put in alienated for the moment. We can always change it if we need to.
That's a good idea. Alienated from our homes.
Yes, yeah. So our homes.
And the places to which we feel a connection.
Yeah, because I was thinking it's more than homes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Places to which we feel connected.
Maybe. Yep. So I'm looking at the topic, we cannot truly belong. So
yeah, we don't just want to say we cannot truly belong.
No.
So what have we said back in the secondary claim?
In the introduction?
Yeah, so...
The process of being... Oh, no, that's the third claim.
It's just about being explored. Yeah, that sense of belonging.
The contention is Perkin reveals her perspective that the experience of isolation from important aspects of our sense of self can be damaging to us.
Yeah, so we want to connect to the idea of damaging, I think, don't we?
Okay, so should we use the word damaging?
Yeah, let's.
Perkins reveals that when we are alienated from our homes and the places to which we feel connected, our sense of belonging is damaged, our sense of self is damaged, our identity is damaged.
Yeah, or our identity is compromised.
Our identity is compromised.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Identity is compromised. Okay, so should we zoom into, because I'm thinking evidence, we could look at Willie and Tadpole.
Yes, yeah.
Anyone else?
I think they're probably the key ones.
Yeah.
You could...
Maybe there would be an argument for Slippery, but he more like finds himself by being removed from Germany rather than...
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that one's sort of...
Better for something else.
Better something for another paragraph.
Yeah, so maybe
if we just pop down just below, Tadpole. If we pop down Willie and Tadpole, so we know our two characters.
Yeah.
So I think we probably want to look at those as separate sort of chunks in the paragraph, don't we?
Yeah. Okay. So could we? So in our second sentence, we probably want to zoom in a little bit. So should we say something like, "This is explored through the characters of Willie and Tadpole, who are both."
Yeah, let's get that first part down.
So
so
this
is explored through the characters of...
Can spell. Through the characters of Willie
and Tadpole.
Who
maybe represent or something like that. So that idea that it's not just these characters, but, the ideas they're representing.
Something about, like, being... the sorrow associated with, or the hardship associated with.
Yeah, more hardship, I think.
Hardship.
Yeah,
the hardship associated with. And then, isn't there a quote that we could put in here? Something about like being a long way from home, because that song that Tadpole sings.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We represent the hardship associated with being a long way from home.
A long way from home. Actually, I could even get up the quote bank.
Yeah, would be handy.
Rainy day quotations.
I'm just going to mention that.
I've been a dreamer, coming back to you. No, that's Willie. Hang on. Tadpole says it down. Here we go. I'm a long way from my country. Yes. Shake off your dreams. You can follow your dreams. It's nothing. Missing the touch of this sorrow. Well, we can put sorrow in there later.
Yeah.
And I might just have this up next to our...
Yeah, so that we can keep sort of referring to it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I'm thinking as well about how we sort of... I'm thinking whether we make this point now before we go into the specific character examples, or whether we save it for later. Looking at then what's this sort of representing more broadly about the Aboriginal experience of being disconnected from
I really like
country.
that, yeah. because I think she's really talking about that with, and we see that later in the film where there's the song, the song that Tadpole sings when they're in jail, and he's talking about like, this is the experience of our people. Like he's saying, the passage of time, listen to the news, talking about the blues of our people.
Yeah.
So
maybe if we pop that over now, so we
blues
remember
of our people. I really like that. That's good because I like that. Then that expands from like the two specific examples.
Yeah, and maybe if we put in just next to there as well that country quote that we were just looking at before.
Yeah, because we probably need to change.
Where did it go? Where it was country.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I'm a long way from my country. So should I change this? Should I use square brackets home? Because that's really what he means.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bit naughty, but we can get it. So then the quote I'm putting here is, it's a feeling of sorrow to be away from home. So feeling of sorrow.
Yes.
Sorry, feeling of sorrow, sorrow away from country. I'll just put in. There's two separate quotes because they are. Okay. This is for through the characters of Willie and Tadpole who represent hardship being hardship associated with being a long way from home. Okay, so should we talk about Willie first?
Yes, I think we do Willie, and I'm probably seeing sort of that we'll have like Willie for the larger sort of portion and then sort of Tadpole's a few sentences to supplement.
Tadpole's got some good stuff though because he talks about he's like, I've been drinking, I've been droving, I've been a Christian, I've been everything, but now I reckon it's time that I went home. So he's talking about like he's found it hard. I think that really ties into the topic
of the alienation
and the identity because he's saying like he's found it really hard to find himself because he's been away from home.
Yeah, and I guess it's whether we want to sort of go with that sort of coming of age sort of journey with Willie first or whether we start with, because I think sort of Tadpole represents that bigger experience and then sort of Willie's almost a part of that experience, isn't he?
Okay, so let's start with Willie because he's sort of the most, and he's also the most like obvious example.
Exactly.
Tadpole's maybe a little bit more complex, a little bit more nuanced, and then the Aboriginal experience is the broader.
That's right, and that will sort of pick up really well from the Tadpole experience.
Cool. All right, so do we need to give a little bit of context with Willie? So though Willie wants to, something about him, he's gone to Clontarf to pursue this dream. We can use that as a quote as well.
Yeah.
His dream of being because he says this, I've been a dreamer following the dreams I dreamed on my own. So though, because we can change it if we need. So though Willie leaves Broome to attend Clontarf in order to fulfill his dream of becoming a priest.
Yes.
Fulfill his dream of becoming a priest. It's something about he nonetheless finds himself like not dreaming, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, he nonetheless sort of finds himself desiring a
return to Broome, and then they sing about Broome, the fish soup, I'm going back home, Fred Penny starting to bloom, the bluebone's starting to bite, I can taste your fish soup and wrath coming back home to you. Yeah. Oh, here we go, can't hack the pace of the city life. Yeah. So he nonetheless finds that he can't hack the pace of
the city life and
that he can't hack the pace of the city life. And desires. We already had that. Yes. And desires the comforts.
Yep, the comforts of home.
And then should we explain why? A home, a place that he feels connected and something?
Yeah, and desires the comforts of home where he feels
I think he says something about it. It's like he feels like he says which he feels is heaven because he says
it's down.
He says
there.
This is here
down here over here. Yeah, this is heaven.
There, which he feels. Okay, so which he feels is his personal heaven or something.
Yeah,
it's his personal
Yeah, because there's all those sort of references of, my girl, God, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's the contrast that although he's going to Clontarf to become a priest, in fact, Broome was heaven all along.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, as it says, where God is here, which has that sort of irony.
Yeah.
I think then it would be really good to sort of zoom in on a particular moment, like this is highlighted when.
Yeah, this is highlighted. Or could we do the dream sequence when he's, when he's in class and he's dreaming about the where he throws the fish at Rosie?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
This is highlighted in the dream sequence. Oh, and could we talk about how Perkins uses like the really vivid colours to contrast against the gloom of Clontarf in that dream sequence?
Yeah, and the sort of the cuts and how that's sort of working as well.
Okay, so this is highlighted in the dream sequence. How do I express this? This is highlighted in the scene in which...
Yeah, the scene in which
Willie at Clontarf, in class at Clontarf.
Yeah, in class at Clontarf. Frequently finds himself.
Yeah. Can we say frequently if we've said the scene? Should we just say finds himself?
Yes. Yeah, good point. Yeah,
finds himself dreaming of...
and maybe we can put in some quotes here, the particular elements that he does sort of dream of, because there's that...
he talks about the blue sky, or the blue bones, memories, sky blue sea.
Yes.
And the blue something.
Dreaming of
the
sky blue sea. And the dusty red highway, maybe.
Oh, that's where they're driving.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Red pennies?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I was thinking as well, we could get freedom in the quotes there as well.
Oh, it's Frangipanis, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we go. Of his hometown.
Yes, highlighted scene which Willie in class at Clontarf finds himself dreaming of the sky blue sea and the frangipanis of his hometown, and the associated freedom or something like that.
Yeah, and he does say, and the associated...
freedom, yeah.
Yeah. And the associated freedom, quote.
Yeah.
And could we say in which all his worries are gone or will be gone?
Perfect. Yeah.
And then we can say Perkins uses in which all his worries are gone. Oops. All his worries are gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we say Perkins uses vivid, so it's like highly saturated colour. It's like the vivid image.
Yeah, he uses vivid, I think vivid colours.
Something about like uses shots.
Yes.
Shots characterised by
vivid colours, and I think it's the contrast, juxtaposed with.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Juxtaposed with. I like that.
Yeah.
Juxtaposed with. Sure. Juxtaposed with or against. Juxtaposed against.
Yes.
The drab greys.
Yeah.
Of Clontarf.
Yes, and I think it's not just the colours, is it? It's the that sense of entrapment. So it's very you closed versus open spaces.
Okay, to reveal Willie's sense of entrapment.
Yes, sense of entrapment.
In a space at which he doesn't feel he belongs.
Exactly, perfect. That's coming back to the topic nicely.
Yes, I like that. In a space to which he feels no sense of belonging, or to which he feels no sense of belonging. I don't know where this sequence came from. Sequence.
That was the dream sequence one stage.
Yeah.
And then something like this is further emphasised by, because that's going to enable us then to build on that and give another example to support that idea. And then that will probably be the end of Willie in this section, won't it?
This is further emphasised by the character of... Sorry, were we moving on to Tadpole here?
No, I was thinking still with Willie. Just that we've made this sort of point about sort of the vivid colours, etc. So, how else is this sense of entrapment, no sense of belonging demonstrated, through Willie? And I think, you could look at the arrival at sort of Clontarf and that sort of shot where...
Yes, I really like that. And the Gothic
conventions. Exactly, but this just that shot that's making him look small.
the moment of Willie's arrival
Yes.
at, let's say, the school, because we've said contact about 4
exactly.
times. All right, writing a body paragraph part 2. So let's go back to the sentence that we were writing. Okay, so this is further emphasised by the moment of Willie's arrival at the school.
And we wanted to capture the Gothic,
Looming,
Gothic conventions and that sort of looming, threatening shot.
Yes, so in which a, what do you call it, down shot? It's a like upwards shot. That's not the term. It's an angle, low angle shot. Which a low angle shot. Combined with something about the dark, the gloominess, the weather. Oh, it's like is it a storm? No, it's not a storm. It's just dark.
Yes.
The Gothic
really.
facade.
Yes.
That too?
Yeah. With the
Combined
Gothic.
with the Gothic facade, and can we say and looming clouds?
Why not? There were looming clouds.
Looming storm clouds.
Yeah.
Combine.
Yeah.
Oh no, we've already said combined. A low angle shot combined with the Gothic facade and looming storm
maybe
clouds.
Foreshadow.
Yes. Foreshadow Willie's. It's not his sense of foreboding, but it's his unwillingness.
Yeah, or just his. It's really about the way that
displacement.
The place is alienating him, isn't it? Yeah, the way.
The extent to it. We can say alienating because we haven't used it since the introduction.
That's right. Well, it's the opposite. It's that whole thing is about the opposite of someone being sort of welcomed, isn't it, into a space?
So the extent to which he feels alienated by this place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to kind of wrap this up a little bit before we move on to Tadpole? Like, do we need to do like a mini wrap up, or do you think we can just leave it there and say this is further?
I think we can transition into Tadpole. Okay.
Similarly, in much the same way.
In much the same way. It's really about, because I think it's making the same point about Willie and Tadpole, but through what Tadpole sort of adds is that that's over a long sequence.
It's a broader. And we get the sense that Willie's only been alienated in the short term, but Tadpole, and that comes back to what we were talking about before, that quote about so we want something from this in here.
That's right.
So in much the same way, Tadpole we can't say has been alienated now.
Let's say has been alienated. We can come back to it. Yeah.
Tadpole has been
alienated from
his country.
Yeah. I feel like saying something along the lines of mainstream society or the
So should we say both his country and mainstream society more broadly?
Yes. Yeah. For an extended time, I think because that's the key difference, isn't it?
Should we say 15 years or should we say an extended time?
Well, I think it's probably more than 15 years, isn't it?
Well, that's what he says.
I know he's got that in the quote, but he's probably actually been alienated
for longer. For an extended period. In much the same way, Tadpole has been alienated from both his country and mainstream society more broadly for an extended period of time. And has struggled to find his identity as a result.
Yes, yeah, and has struggled.
And then we can put in the quote about, he's been drinking, droving, and a Christian.
Yes.
I've been everything. Struggled to find his identity as a result.
And then maybe, I think full stop there probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe Tadpole reflects that.
Yeah. Reflects.
Yeah.
That he has, I was about to say he's, but that's a contraction.
Yeah.
We don't use contractions when writing formally.
That's right. He has
been drinking, and then I might just put in ellipses.
Yes.
Because otherwise the quote's going to be super long.
That's right.
Droving. A Christian is the next one?
Yes, a Christian.
Oh.
Do we need... Probably not the everything.
Well, it kind of sums up though.
It, doesn't it?
Tadpole reflects that he's been drinking, droving, a Christian. Should I put he's been? No, just
It just seems a bit odd, everything on its own.
It does a bit.
Let's pop it in, and then
Yeah.
we can come back and fix it. Yeah. Everything. Can we go back to the start of that sentence and maybe say Tadpole's reflection that?
Yeah. Tadpole's reflection that. Oh, and then can we say fills him with a feeling of sorrow?
Yes, that's right.
Fills him with
a feeling of sorrow.
Feeling of sorrow.
Yeah.
Oops.
Can't quite get that.
Do we need to put in this quote about being feels with? No,
I think
probably not, because we've already set up here.
Yeah,
he's
I
been
think that
alienated
sort of
from his
captured
country,
it. Yeah.
and has struggled to find his identity as well. Tadpole's reflection that he's been drinking, driving, a Christian, everything fills him with a feeling of sorrow. Should I just make this and everything?
Yes, that makes more sense. And everything, yeah, fills him with a
Feeling of sorrow.
I think probably full stops there, and because otherwise it's getting quite long. And then sort of we can do our analysis of that in this next sentence. This suggests that.
Should we zoom in on the drinking and what the drinking shows?
Yeah. So let's pick up on the drinking element and then sort of zoom out further.
Reliance on alcohol,
Yeah,
or his alcoholism.
Yeah, I think alcoholism. Yeah, his alcoholism. Alcoholism signifies. Yes. Oh, something about his like internal disturbance, or his internal. Well, it's internal. It's his conflicted identity and the pain associated with the alienation, isn't it?
So it signifies his deep pain.
Yes,
and in loss, or
and maybe sort of inability to
reconcile his
it's really, you don't want to say sense of self, but it's sort of to really reconcile who he is and what his place is, isn't it? Yeah.
Reconcile who he is. No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Alcoholism signifies deep pain and inability to reconcile
the conflicting elements of his identity.
Yeah, the conflicting elements with like being in the city, being in a city environment, or being in an alien environment.
Yes, being within an alien environment, I think. Within an alien environment.
If you to reconcile the conflicting elements of his identity within an alien environment.
Yeah.
And then we can transition into this last idea about the Aboriginal experience, because this is reflective of the Aboriginal experience more broadly, as Perkins highlights in Tadpole's song, in which he reflects on the blues of our people.
Yes, exactly.
What
we need to bring Perkins in here. I don't remember. This is what always happens when you say something out loud.
Representative of the
or maybe even we can bring Perkins earlier into the sentence, so that
I like that.
Because
we haven't mentioned her for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so Perkins uses this as a reflection, as a representation of.
Yes.
Perkins uses Tadpole's
experiences as a in order to represent, or to represent, or to comment on.
In order to comment on,
it might be better. To
the plight
of
Aboriginal people more broadly, as emphasised, or as
reflected in,
in Tadpole's. It's quite. Could we say a haunting?
Yes, a haunting lament.
Yes, haunting lament for the blues of his people. Perkins uses who are also struggling with a sense of alienation from country and self, or something, or who are also struggling with a sense of, because it's about she's saying that that in the same way that Willie is kind of coming to Clontarf, she's sort of showing how like Aboriginal people more broadly, and even like the other homeless men that Tadpole are with, they've all like been alienated by this new Australia that's sort of expecting them to integrate into a white way of living.
Yes. So we just really need to capture that sense, don't
there was
we?
a lot in there.
Exactly.
In order to comment on the plight of Aboriginal people more broadly, as reflected in Tadpole's haunting lament for the blues of his people, whose collective identity?
Yes, exactly, whose collective identity
has been challenged
by their disconnection from place.
Yes, I like that. Because, and we can't do this because the paragraph will get too long, but the other person is Roxanne, who, remember, she's a Kimberley woman, but she's also in Perth.
Yes.
No, she's not in Perth. She's in the place that they stop off in when they're on the way to Broome with the football coach.
Yeah. I can't remember that place.
Yes, a place. But she's like, I'm a desert woman, and she's also talking about the fact that she shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And it really is, isn't it? Sort of.
Should I say systemic disconnection from place?
Yeah, and I think that's often what happens when we go back and refine, isn't it? Is sort of look at that that noun and then think like, how can I use that adjective to refine it for exactly what I mean?
Now, can that function as a connecting, as a linking sentence? Does that, so I'm going back to our topic sentence. So Perkins reveals that when we are alienated from our homes and the places to which we feel connected, our identity is compromised. Do we need to maybe say it a little bit more explicitly?
No, I think we can use it just as is, but we'd need to not just have tadpoles experiences, we'd need to have tadpoles and willies, because we've used willy and tadpole in the paragraph.
Good. Okay, so Perkins uses tadpoles and indeed willies.
Yes,
I love a good indeed in a linking sentence. And indeed Willie's experiences in order to comment on the plight of Aboriginal people more broadly, as reflected in Tadpole's haunting lament for the blues of his people, whose collective identity has been challenged by the systemic disconnection from place. Nice.
Yes.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
Should we reread it?
Let's reread it.
Okay.
So Perkins reveals that can we go back and have a look at the essay topic first, just to make sure we're staying on it. So Perkins shows that we cannot truly belong if we are alienated from the people and places that are important to our identity. Discuss. Okay. So Perkins reveals that when we are alienated from our homes and the places to which we feel connected, our identity is compromised. This is explored through the characters of Willie and Tadpole, who represent the hardship associated with being a long way from home. Though Willie leaves Broome to attend Clontarf in order to fulfill his dream of becoming a priest, he nonetheless finds that he can't hack the pace of city life and desires the comforts of home, which he feels is his personal heaven. This is highlighted in the scene in which Willie, in class at Clontarf, finds himself dreaming of a sky blue sea and the frangipanis, or I can never remember exactly.
Flowers.
However you say those flowers of his hometown and the associated freedom in which all his worries are gone. Perkins uses shots characterised by vivid colours juxtaposed against the drab greys of Clontarf to reveal Willie's sense of entrapment in a space to which he feels no sense of belonging. This is further emphasised by the moment of Willie's arrival at the school, in which a low-angle shot combined with the Gothic facade and looming storm clouds.
Gothic facade of the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Foreshadow the extent to which he feels alienated by this place.
I like that sentence.
In much the same way, Tadpole has been alienated from both his country and mainstream society more broadly for an extended period of time, and has struggled to find his identity as a result. Tadpole's reflection that he has been drinking, droving, a Christian and everything fills him with a feeling of sorrow. His alcoholism signifies his deep pain and inability to reconcile the conflicting elements of his identity within an alien environment. Perkins uses tadpoles and indeed Willie's experiences. Do you need a comment there?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And indeed Willie's.
Or after experiences. Uses. No, we need it there. Yeah, after Willie's. Otherwise, it's odd, isn't it?
It is a bit. It's kind of an embedded clause that doesn't really seem like one.
Exactly. Perkins uses tadpoles and indeed Willie's experiences in order to comment on the plight of Aboriginal people more broadly, as reflected in Tadpole's haunting lament for the blues of his people, whose collective identity has been challenged by their systemic disconnection from place.
Well, Ms. Selsler, I think that is a wonderful paragraph. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah, I think that last sentence makes such a difference, doesn't it?
It really does.
Really bringing it out of just being about Willie and Tadpole as characters.
Yeah, because otherwise if we finished it there, it wouldn't really... Yeah, I think you're right, because I think, that comes back out to like, well, what is Perkins trying to tell us about our world that we live in, not just about the fictional characters Willie and Tadpole.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Nice. Dunzo.
Yes.
Well done.
Yep. Body paragraph 1 done.